Okay, morning folks. Welcome to the briefing on Wednesday the 11th. So this is the overnight chart. You'd sort of look at that and go, doesn't look very good for today, but these particular features have gone up over sort of northern England, and they're fairly weak anyway, as you can see here. So if you roll it on another 12 hours, they've almost disappeared over us. It's quite heavy rain over sort of northern England and Scotland at the moment. This cold front has some rain on it. It's depositing most of it over Ireland. And it is going to crawl over us slowly over the next 24 hours. I think we'll see it tomorrow just as a cloud feature. Isobars are reasonably well spaced and pressure's gone up again from yesterday. So stabilizing things out a little bit more. But we're in a sort of southwesterly flow, really, as opposed to a westerly flow yesterday. Tafts, well, they're even shorter than yesterday. So 200 degrees, 5 knots, light southwesterly on the ground, and few at 4,000 feet, which sounds promising. And 10k viz. Upper winds are again 220, 230 down in the channel, a little bit more southerly in the center of the country. So that's the picture of the day. They're light enough that we'll think about the main runway first of all today. We'll brief on that in a minute. Sat pic shows this is the main frontal system. This cold front here that's pepping itself up over Ireland. It really is thrashing down across there in the Irish Sea at the moment and up through northern England. We're in the slot here. The warm fronts have just died out. There is some upper cloud, mid-level stuff just at the moment you can see, and some upper cloud as well. And you can see that on the infrared satellite, which shows higher cloud. There's the gap we're in. This is the high cloud associated with the front. So hopefully it'll be clear most of the day. Odd little bits of cirrus, I think, floating about. More effect from the front, I think, later on this afternoon. We might start to see the edge of it in the distance. But it shouldn't stop the temperatures going up. I just thought I'd quickly show the rainfall radar where it is. You can see it's sat over Ireland. Odd showers here, which I think will just die out as the morning goes on. So nothing to affect us in terms of rain. Temperature wise, a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday. I'm working on 22 degrees. BBC was showing 24 in London. So I think in the southeast area here, 22 degrees seems about right. And dew points, well, currently they're 13s. But this is where it all went a bit wrong yesterday. I reckoned the dew point was going to go down to about 10, and we'd have 4,500 foot cloud base. Well, actually, dew point stayed at 13 all day. Didn't change, and that's why the cloud base never really got going until improving and getting higher until later in the afternoon. So, lesson learnt on that one. Dew points 13s, they'll probably be down about 12 most of the day. Here, I don't think they're going to go down much more than that. And plug in those numbers into the soundings. And I can see where Top Meteo are getting it. I think probably 3.5 above Lasham is the best we're going to see today. Looking at this, it's quite a strong inversion here. There will be cumulus tucked in this little bit here, but a chance of spread out. And looking further north, it's a similar sort of picture, perhaps slightly higher, maybe 4,000 feet above sea level, and tops about 5.5. But again, an inversion here, so sort of indicates spread out really, and quite large cloud amounts at times. Other areas seem to show bits of blue, so it's a bit of a mishmash, to be honest. You can see on the actual Lark Hill ascent, the inversion here that starts about 4,000 feet, 4,500 feet, and runs all the way up to probably about 5.5 to 6, just over 2,000 meters. So yeah, the air is going to get, clouds going to get trapped under here and definitely spread out. And that was evident yesterday as well. Top Meteo are sort of showing that in places, and I can see where they're getting their sort of cloud in some places, blue in others. I think generally there'll be cloud in most areas of varying amounts. So that's sort of 12 o'clock over us, quite nice, but some signs of spread out. Yeah, there might still be fog down on the coast, but in this area out towards Oxford should be quite nice. Temperature build quite nicely by 1 o'clock. And then cumulus off and on during the day, and chance of spread out further out to the west, I think, as well. And at that time, you're going to see, this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, way in the distance, you'll see the start of the approaching front coming in. And again, 5 o'clock. So it should be quite a reasonable length soaring day from sort of 11 till 5. Thermal heights, again, they're suggesting late morning start to get reasonable by 1 o'clock, 1,300 meters, maybe 1,400 meters, which seems to tie in with the numbers we've got, dew points staying fairly consistent throughout the day. So by mid to late afternoon, 12 to 1,300 meters around us, which is 3,500 feet, and out in East Anglia, maybe 1,500 meters, 4,500 feet out to the north and east. Definitely see some sea air influence. We saw it yesterday. It didn't actually get to us, but you could certainly see it in the distance, maybe the other side of Petersfield. But I think we might see that this afternoon with the wind picking up from the southwest. And suggested distance for Top Meteo. Will be basically north and east, and they're giving breezier across East Anglia from the southwest. So that's generally direction that we expect people to go. This sort of picture where the sea air came in here yesterday, you could see it pushing in the normal place, but it'll be more noticeable today. Right, so reasonable soaring day, perhaps not what we thought 2 days ago, but we should get something out of today. And tomorrow, I think we're going to be lying under the front, unfortunately. 24 hours ago, that showed that front clearing and being quite reasonable tomorrow, but could well be just a cloud feature that allows us to fly, but no soaring. Airspace wise, just left this one on there. It's for information. It's not actually airspace, folks. It's a Red Arrows transit from Scampton down to Exeter. And the timing on that is 14:05 to 15:10. That varying route all down the country, across the Cotswolds, and then into the West Country. Right, apart from that, as you can see in here, fairly quiet. Sywell, I've got aerobatics today, and we're on the 11th, so that's between 16:15 and 16:35. All other times, I think it's fairly quiet aerodrome just at the moment. There seems to be a lot going on there. And into Cambridgeshire, Duxford, there is an air display there this afternoon from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Gliding comps on at Husbos and Gransden, so they're busy. In terms of operation, I think we're going to try and set up on 2.7 to start off with the winch offset to one side. I'll put the launch point vehicle out because we had to be a little bit careful with the grass yesterday. positioning, because it rained really heavily on Monday, and the ground was still quite sodden. We should be able to get back on the grass in the normal operation, hopefully today, with an offset winch and a launch point close to the runway. I'll set it up and then we'll get going. If the wind does pick up, we may be forced onto 2-3. We'll see how it goes, depending on the cable drift. Jet movements, you've already heard one. You couldn't miss that. If you were in the clubhouse, it must have rattled the windows. And in theory, there's another one outbound sometime around 4 to 5 o'clock, but that's to be announced. So 2 today. To keep us on our toes. Okay, we'll see you out there, folks. Or we'll see you for the briefing tomorrow.